And now, Move the Sticks with Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Move the Sticks. DJ Buck with you. Buck, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, DJ. Just navigating everything that is high school graduation. Daughter graduation.
Oh, nice.
No, graduation on Friday, and then it's on.
Yep. When are you heading out to Austin?
Not until middle of August. I think.
Okay.
I think she'll graduate Friday. She'll go to an orientation like early June, and then she'll go middle of August, and then it's on.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Well, that's a tremendous honor, man. It's not an easy place to get into. So excited for your daughter and
yeah,
chapter here.
Yeah, it should be fun. Like she wants to be a filmmaker, so she wants to get into making documentaries and stuff. And so right now she's talking about like she's in the film school, but she may pick up some journalism stuff and knock it out.
I love it.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens.
No, I love it. Today, Buck, we're going to have some fun with this flag football decision that came down. We got flag football in the Olympics. For those that don't know, Buck is a high school coach, but also Buck has a huge history in that world, in the 7-on world, because you did with Elite 11 and you're coaching that on a yearly basis. So I think you have some insights into what plays well in 7-on-7 versus regular football, because it is different. And I think people might be surprised about the skill sets that work great in 7-on-7 versus that.
Yeah, no, it's funny because like this flag football thing is going to be interesting to watch, and you've had so many players express their desire to kind of have their Steph Curry moment. But DJ, it'd be a lot of pressure on NFL guys going out there because it's a completely different game. It's very similar to when they open up 3-on-3. In the Olympic sport. Like it's a different game than 5-on-5 and all that. It'd be interesting to see USA Football is in charge of kind of putting it together. It'd be interesting to see, one, if they have a combine. Two, how do you go about cutting some prominent NFL players and telling them they're not good enough? But we've seen that in USA Basketball. But then having the skill sets to do what is required to win at a high level when they've won successfully without NFL players. That's also a challenge.
Yeah. 5-on-5, so it's a little different there. By the way, there has been like a competitive flag football world for adults, mind you, that has existed for a very long time. And the reason that I first became aware of it was my son. I don't know if I ever told you this story, but he was playing Friday Night Lights up in Temecula, up in Murrieta, and he was maybe 8 years old or something, and he had a coach who was, and I think we're on the same page as parents. Like I'm a step back, let the coaches coach. I'm not stepping on any toes. I want my son to be able to hear other voices, listen to them, and listen to your coach do what they say. My son was playing quarterback, and he's, again, 7, 8, 9 years old, something. He's a little kid, and they're trying to throw deep balls. And so this coach has got him crow hopping like he's a center fielder to get enough on the ball to be able to throw the ball deep down the field. So they have a little break in practice, and the kids get a little snack, some water, whatever. So my son comes over to me. I go, "Hey, what are you doing?" He said, "Well, he told me that in order to throw it deep, I got to do that." I said, "Well, that's, this is kind of the age where let's just develop good habits and then we can, go from there." And I said, "Let's not do that. If you can't throw it as far as that, you know what you need to do? You need to take your drop and you get the ball up a little bit earlier. Like just get it out a little bit earlier. That way you don't have to
Peyton Manning style. Peyton Manning.
Yeah, get it up and get it out." So then, and of course, like I didn't think it through. So I'm watching the rest of the practice. So then he does what I told him. And then I'm off to the side and I see the coach go over and talk to him. And then I see my son look over at me and I'm like, I'm in trouble. So the coach comes over to me and he's like, "Hey, appreciate it if you wouldn't, coach your son, like this is what I'm here to do, blah, blah, blah." And he needs to do that footwork and that crow hop in order he doesn't have a strong enough arm. I go, "Well, he's 8 years old. So, that's, not how many 8-year-olds are going to be able to throw the ball that far." But I said, I don't want to step on your toes. Play who you want to play, run the plays you want to play. I would just want him to have good habits like this. The young kids, like let's develop good fundamentals and habits as that's all I'm asking. And he goes, "Well, I play professional flag football and I think you just need to trust me." And
Okay.
Buck, I'm sitting here
All right.
going like, do I?
Okay. No.
I got the card. I can pull the card
No.
out. I got the card. I can
No.
pull it out.
Just got to rock with it.
So he goes, so I just kind of look at him and I go, okay, all right. Well, I would just say like, look, there's a lot of kids on this team. Like you can probably put my son in any of these other positions. Like maybe just let somebody else play quarterback then. Cause I just like him to do it the other way. So that's fine, but just let somebody else play quarterback. He'll play another position. So I avoided playing the card. But I remember thinking like that, first of all, like, where is this professional flag football league that this guy's talking about? Why is this a badge of honor? But it was hilarious, man. But that was when I realized, like, holy crap, there's this whole world out there.
A brand new world. Everything. They play adult flag all over the place. I've done it, and they're different iterations of flag. Like I coached in a flag league when my son was coming up, where you could actually block. Like you had 3 linemen, you had some skill guys. You could actually kind of put some physicality up there and do your thing. And then the 5-on-5 is really open space, reverses and double passes, and all the other stuff. It's a speed game. Not only that, DJ, is how do you teach them how to avoid getting their flag taken without flag guarding? Because that's a big thing. So it's the twisting of the hips, it's the dip and get low, it's going sideways. I mean, there are a lot of little nuances that allow you to become good. And then I'll say this, like, you got to have your fast guys positioned in the right spots on defense. And I don't know, can you imagine Tyreek Hill being the pass rusher? Like, so you got to reimagine what you think.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to reimagine what you think about the sport and players and what works, because like what you think works in traditional football does not work in flag, and you got to be ready for it.
All right. So I thought, as we're kind of starting this thing up, and we have some other stuff we want to get to, but on the fly here, if we were just going to do like it's 10-man rosters, right? So if we were just going to go back and forth and have a little draft here, let's do 9, because you have the quarterback. I don't know how many quarterbacks would they carry. 2, you think, on a 10-man roster?
I mean, can we?
You got to have 2 in case if something happens to the quarterback, you couldn't play. You need another quarterback, right?
I mean, maybe, unless one of those guys. Josh Jacobs played quarterback in high school. Like, I mean,
okay.
Can we find a 2-way player?
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we do? You want to do 7 players, like a little draft here, a quick little draft? We'll do 7.
Okay, we can go fast.
Let's get some guys you would like here. So I want, first of all, before we do that, what is a misconception about that? Like, what is something that everybody at home is thinking, ooh, this guy would be a great flag football player or a great 7-on or 5-on, however we're going to discuss this. But what is the misnomer there?
Look, man, I think speed is everything. I think speed and length are everything. And I think you want some guys, because with that roster, DJ, we got to have some 2-way guys. Yeah. So you got to have some guys that have enough general athleticism that they can do a little bit of both. But look, I'm going to put a premium on speed and agility, because I just want to overwhelm people on the speed part of it, whether it's the vertical or even the crossing routes. But really, I'm thinking about being able to disrupt you with my pass rush. Yeah. I mean, having a young athletic pass rusher that can come after you like a speed demon.
All right, so let's just take quarterbacks out of it. We're not going to take quarterbacks.
Okay, I'm going to give you the first
pick.
I got to ask you, who would be your flag football quarterback? Who would you take?
Oh, I'd take Joe Burrow.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. Because I think seeing it, processing it, boom, 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 like balls out, accurate.
So the person that came to mind for me was Lamar Jackson, because I want to have a counter. If you do decide to rush me and do whatever, I want all bets to be off.
So tell me the rules now, because I need to pull up. I
don't like it. I feel like every.
Are you allowed to rush?
Different. Because if you can rush, I'm gonna be like, well, I'm gonna get Lamar Jackson, and that's gonna eliminate all of that rushing.
There were 10 players, 5 players in the field of time. The remaining 5 players substitutes, allowing for flexibility in the game. Games are in a 5-on-5 format. I got to do some more homework on that in terms of the different rules, because the rushing thing that changes it. But to me, like, I was thinking
Joe Burrow makes sense.
I was thinking the athleticism of the quarterback would be negated by the fact that we're just got to throw. I want the most accurate, the fastest processor, and just ball placement premium on that.
Well, look, I think Joe Burrow is athletic enough to function.
Yeah.
Even if you have to move off the spot or whatever. It is interesting. So let's take the quarterbacks out of it. What do we?
I know who my first pick might shock you. Who my first pick would be,
Well, who's going to be your first pick?
because I think there's going to be so much emphasis on who can get open. I would take Derek Stingley with the first pick. Because I think he's the premier cover guy, and I can try and take somebody away there.
Oh,
I think he's a freaky athlete. You put him on offense, he can help you on offense too.
Okay, like I wouldn't think about him being first. He's super talented. I am wondering, like, man, without all the rules, I wonder, are you gonna be committed to playing man to man? Because DJ, like, there's a lot of
5-on-5. Don't you kind of have to?
I don't know, man. That's a lot of crossing. This is when the next time we bring Bruce Feldman on.
Yeah, because he coaches that.
I have to ask Bruce, like, because you remember Bruce talked about Mike Leach had advised him mesh route. You can't go wrong with mesh. You can't go wrong with all the crossing routes. Derek Stingley is a good one. I'm gonna go for a wideout and a playmaker. And the guy that comes to mind for me is I kind of want Jamar Chase on my team. Okay. And the reason why I want Jamar Chase is I feel like I need someone who's a little rough and rugged, and I don't believe that they can call everything when it's like the pushing off down the field. And I just know with Jamar Chase, his physicality combined with like his athleticism, it's going to be problematic for some people.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I'm actually going to go a really, really young player with my next pick because I also think I want as much twitch as I can possibly get. And I just think the younger you are, you're just gonna have more of that in you. I would take Malik Neighbors with my next one. I think his combination of quickness, speed, and toughness, like I think he'd be a weapon out there in that.
Well, I'm glad you're talking about being a weapon. I'm glad you're talking about Malik Neighbors and doing that. To me, the perfect flag football player. We haven't even seen him play an NFL snap. I got to take Travis Hunter. Yeah. I got to get a 2-for-1. I mean, you just teeing it up. I think he has to go early, just because of the ball skills and those things. And I think as we're looking at drafting guys, we're going to dig a little deeper and look into their backgrounds and some of the things that they have, because I almost believe that you have to have the best set of athletes that have skill, because we are going to bounce people around and put them in unfamiliar.
What would be the point? What would be the point of taking a traditional running back, even like somebody like Bijan or Jahmyr Gibbs? Like, wouldn't you just be better off just taking all wide receivers?
I think it literally is a lot of wide receivers and DBs, maybe a freaky linebacker type, because I think down in the red zone we got to be able to do the shovel pass to score touchdowns. You got to have a little shovel. You got to have a little something that you can flip to them or whatever. Yeah. But I don't think the running back is in the mix. I mean, unless it's just an Achane. Someone that is just so fast that you can't keep up with. But I think this is a hard game for those guys to get loose and get busy.
I want some kind of length and range. So, I mean, look, at this point in time, I'm going to take Justin Jefferson just because
he's too good.
He's too good. And even when he's going to be, with bodies around him, he'll be able to play around and over people. So I'll go with Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson is a good one. I feel like you almost have to have like someone to negate that. And so you took Derek Stingley. I took Travis Hunter as 1 DB. I feel like I want the defensive player of the year somewhere in the mix in Pat Surtain. I feel like I need a C-ball, get ball defender. So I'm going to take Pat Surtain.
I like that move. All right. So I've got two guys I'm deciding with. And I know that we're technically doing two different teams, but I'm going to use you as a consultant on my team because I want to ask you this question. But again, for those – Bucky's got a lot of experience in this. So you have more experience of what works better in this format than others. Because if I gave you these two players, and take your Jags hat off, but Brian Thomas Jr. With his speed and athleticism, size, range, all that stuff, or Amon-Ra. Like Amon-Ra, you saw him. I think you were with him at Elite 11. Like this, he's been playing 7-on-7 since he was a kid. Like as a big time recruit, and nobody covered him during all. I remember watching all that stuff when he was in high school. And he's been uncoverable in the NFL. So he's not the fastest guy, but he knows how to get open, run routes, separate.
DJ, things. So there was a craze in 7-on-7 when Amon-Ra was playing where this dude would score touchdowns.
He would punt the ball.
Yeah. He would punt the ball. The reason why I would opt for Amon-Ra St. Brown over Brian Thomas Jr. is I love BTJ. But I will say this. There's a feistiness that Amon-Ra has that will enable him to be good on offense and defense. And I think you want to have some of that versatility in mind when you're thinking about building your team. But yeah, he is a spunky little dude that wants to come after it. He's good. His spatial awareness, his route running ability, his quickness, particularly if you can clear the side and have him one-on-one working. He has some stuff to him. Yeah, I would offer Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay, I'll take Amon-Ra then on your advice. So you're up next. Basically making you draft for 2 teams here, Buck.
Nah, I mean, like, look, it's so good because you're thinking about the skill guys and being able to do something. It's so funny, DJ, because we're eliminating so many guys, but I'm gonna do this because I know he would want me to do it, knowing him from being in high school. I don't know where I could play him, but I feel like I got to have Michael Parsons somewhere around.
Oh, nice.
If not just for the conversation that is going to be him, because I can tell you that he played on my 7-on-7 team, and then I had to coach against him. He was on another team, and the guy's a nonstop chatterbox. So not only that part that can annoy the other team and frustrate him, I feel like he would be our Draymond Green in terms of that, but also his versatility. I know in high school, he was a running back, he was a defensive end, he's a linebacker, he's done a million different things. He's super twitchy and explosive. I feel like there's a way, and if he inadvertently bumps somebody, we're getting their flag. I think that helps us. I think that's in our favor.
It's a little size because I'm looking at Derwin James, who I think would be excellent.
He was so great. He was so great.
He can do both offense, defense, but then I just wonder, do you need the size, or do you just need people who can separate on offense and who can just stay plastered, on defense against any type of receiver? Give me a smaller, quicker guy, whatever you could match up against. If we're going to have a traditional tight end, traditional safety, I mean, to me, I'm taking Bowers, I'm taking Derwin James, and I'm letting those guys be those pieces. But I just don't know if you need a traditional player. Like, or are you just trying to get the most quick, able to separate package of players you can get?
So going all the way back to when Derwin was in high school, we had a chance to. I think, man, he was on my team too one time. Like, DJ, this dude would cover people, then flip around and play wide receiver. But I would want Derwin on the team because you see it every week. I don't know if I've seen a more passionate player that just loves it. Like, I'm just betting on the kid. I'm willing to bet on the kid.
Take him. I'm convinced. I'm an easy sell. I'm taking him. I love him so much. I'll take Derwin there.
He's such a good dude.
So that's my 5. Right now, I've got Stingley, Neighbors, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Derwin James. That's a fun group.
I mean, that is a fun group. I feel like you have more.
Right now, you got a fun group too because you've got Chase, Hunter, Surtain, and Parsons. That's a lot of fun too.
You got more firepower than me right now. I feel like on offense, I feel like I need another.
You got to get a receiver.
I need another playmaker, and so.
Can I make my case to you real quick?
Yeah,
because you've helped me with a couple guys, and I'm looking at your roster, and I think this player would complement your roster and what you have. Who's, and I'm biased because I watch him every week, but Ladd McConkey is a nightmare cover. Do you remember? Remember him coming out? We talked about all those corners in SEC. He torched all of them. I mean, his last game, I just saw him in Houston in the playoffs. He had 200 yards. Like, nobody can. They can't cover him. He's too quick. I'm like, he would be a nightmare in this environment.
He would be a nightmare, but I think I would be remiss if I don't take Tyreek Hill here. I feel like I need. Yeah. How can we have a flag football team without Tyreek Hill in the 5? So I would take him there, but then I can use Ladd McConkey as my alternate.
Okay. Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We said we'd do 7, so we got a couple more rounds. So I'm gonna give you another shot at that one. All right. So next one for me. I wonder if I should grab another corner, another defensive back here. I know he did not play well last year, but Sauce, like his length and all that.
Oh,
I know. Again, I know he did not play like he wanted to play, but I know that talent is in there. So that'd give me my 3 defensive players would be Stingley, Derwin, and Sauce Gardner. I think I'd feel good about that. I think I'm going to go that route.
Man, DJ, I just put his name in my Google search drive because I was trying to figure out.
He didn't play as well last year, but
no, he didn't. But I was looking to read his bio to see about his high school exploits, to see if there was something that.
The only thing about him is that he doesn't catch the ball well, which is probably a problem in this environment.
Well, can we hand it to him on a jet sweep? Can we hand it to him? Can
Yeah,
we make him
do that?
I think in those situations we can make him like a defensive specialist, somewhere we can use like that. Man, this is where it gets really, really interesting when we start looking at like who's available. I feel like I got speed. I got Tyreek Hill. I have Chase. I have a big body in Michael Parsons. I have a two-way player in Travis Hunter. So we're good on that side. I feel like I need another guy that can kind of make some plays all over the field. I really would like a center fielder. Let's do this. At one point, this guy was leading the league in interceptions, playing center fielder. Let's go the kid from Green Bay, McKinney.
Oh, yeah. Xavier McKinney. He's a good player.
Yeah. Let's go center field player.
All right. I like that. Okay. Now I'm okay. My last one. This one, I want to see what it's like to try and cover this group of guys that I got here. I'm going to take A.J. Brown with my last pick.
Ooh.
So I've got Neighbors, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra, and A.J. Brown. That's a lot. I got a lot of guys you got to cover. Like that's and I've got different skill sets. I've got strength and power. I thought about Drake London because of the size, but to me, A.J. Brown can go up and get those balls, and then he can play a little bit quicker. So I'm gonna go that way.
Man, look at you, DJ. Look at you. You just put.
So I got 3 defensive players. You've got Hunter who can go both ways, Surtain and Parsons. So you've got McKinney. So you've got really 4 guys who have experience playing on the defensive side of the ball. You got to get another offensive guy, man.
I need another weapon. I need another. So I need someone that can take it down the field. This is a good one because this is a really good athlete. I need someone to balance out my wide receiver core. So how about we take Puka Nacua because of his size and his length. And it's weird. I'm taking him over CeeDee Lamb, but I'm taking him because anyone who has watched him delve into those forays, slam dunk competition, other stuff, give me Puka.
Okay. I like that. So our teams are set. I've got Stingley, Neighbors, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Derwin James, Sauce Gardner, A.J. Brown. I got to get Sauce on the jugs machine. That's the one thing I got to do before we get out there because that's the only thing that worries me. Catch the ball. Catch the ball, man. You've got Jamar Chase, Travis Hunter, Pat Surtain, Micah Parsons, Tyreek Hill, Xavier McKinney, Puka Nacua. It'll be fun to watch. Like I just watched that documentary last night. I had not seen it, the Grant Hill one where they showed the select team that beat the dream team in that scrimmage in La Jolla when they were getting ready for the 92 Olympics. Had a lot of behind the scenes footage on that and had all those guys. And, I was just kind of watching that and how they, got them ready. And I was like, gosh, man, it would be fun to watch who would be on like the quote unquote select team. Maybe they use college kids to come get this flag football team ready. I'd pay to watch that.
I mean,
let's bring Jeremiah Smith out there. Let's bring Ryan Williams out there. Let's bring Arch Manning out there. Where we got to do to get these guys ready?
Well, I am surprised because I actually thought that one of those young guys would kind of enter the mix, either Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams, because they were so good. They're so young and they've grown up.
One of them has to be Christian Laettner. Maybe we bring a Christian Laettner on this.
Beat him up a little bit, or we can have someone that shows up like Cooper Flagg. To kind of like get in. By the
way, in that documentary, I had heard the stories and I've seen all those other documentaries, but on this one, so they won. That select team won by 8 points, like 62-54.
Oh yeah.
And then the next day, the dream team beat them by like 45.
A little wake up call for him.
That select team had I didn't realize all the dudes that were on that team. It was C. Webb, Penny Hardaway, Jamal Mashburn, Allen Houston. And then you had Grant Hill, the Bobby Hurley, who was the dude from Wake Forest, the jacked up, muscled up dude.
Rodney Rogers.
Rodney Rogers. He was nice. Like watching some of the footage of him, he was nice. And then Ed Montross was the other one.
Imagine Rodney Rogers playing quarterback and tight end in high school, because that's what
Did
he
he really?
did at Durham
Come
Hillside.
on.
Yeah, Durham Hillside. He was
Were you
quarterback.
guys similar age?
Yeah, close. He's a little
Did you
younger
play
than me.
against him?
No, thank God.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
he was like a local legend or whatever. But yeah, like Rodney Rogers played quarterback or whatever. He's left-handed too.
Yeah. Didn't look like he was in good health in that documentary, unfortunately. I hope he's okay. But the
ATV incident.
is that what it is?
He was on a quad runner. He has a very successful like trucking business, hauling business, or whatever. And then he was messing around on ATVs and flipped over and quadriplegic.
Oh man, that's terrible. I did not know. I just was watching him, and man, he was a good basketball player. I wasn't as familiar with his.
Yeah.
There was some other news here that took place this week since we last talked. Tush push. Do you get all worked up about that? To me, I don't really care. Everybody's just. I think we're looking for something. It ended up staying in. It didn't get voted out. It just got so much attention. It tells you how powerful the NFL is. That this is like dominating social media. If they ban it, they're just going to run a quarterback sneak and probably have darn near similar success.
Yeah, to me, I thought it was weak sauce on the Green Bay Packers and all the other teams that wanted to get it out. Like, I think the Philadelphia Eagles deserve credit for really pouring a lot of time into making the play a very successful play. Other teams have tried to copy it, and they haven't had the same success. I think you're penalizing the Eagles for mastering something that was well within the rules. I think what is interesting, now that it has passed and survived at least for another year, if I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, do I just kind of start running that, just periodically sprinkling that in because I know everyone hates it? Like, is that kind of like the screw you to effect? Like, we go in 4-minute offense and we're just going to push our way into the game.
Well,
so to me,
yes.
it was just that, like, player safety. Look, man, I think you have to dig in, and we've seen it stop. Here's the thing. We've seen teams stop it. I think you have to commit like they've committed to being good at it. You got to commit the same kind of time and energy to find a way to stop it.
Yeah, I couldn't get all worked up about it personally, but that was a big story. So another story that came down was on the sad side of things. Jim Irsay, the owner of the Indianapolis Colts, passed away at 65. Sad situation there. Again, our thoughts and prayers go out to his daughters, his family, everyone with the Colts who have been through a rough patch here, man. Our buddy Matt Turpening, his wife had passed away. Matt has been in that organization for over 20 years.
Forever. Yeah. Forever.
And they did our best to try and honor her during the draft, and now they lose their owner. And 65 is young, man. So sad situation there. I got to meet him a couple times just to shake hands, say hello. I remember being out at training camp one year. It was the year I was actually there the day, and I'm sure we talked about it on the pod, but I was there the day that Jonathan Taylor went into his bus or whatever, to meet with Irsay on the bus, and then came out and was basically like, I want to be traded and all that kind of stuff. It was a crazy day. It was a crazy day. But Irsay was going around in his golf cart, and he was literally finding just fans handing out $100 bills.
Unbelievable.
Giving total strangers $100 bills just to thank them for coming out to training camp. But I know he was eccentric and like a unique guy, loved music. But I just remember thinking like, this guy's and all these stories have come flooding out. You've seen him paying for funerals and all the different things he did. It was a very generous man.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate, very sad. 65 is so young. I mean, when you just think about like so much life still left to live, but he certainly left his mark on the National Football League and the work that has been done by the Colts in that city. Look, a very proud franchise, a franchise that's been very, very successful since making the move to Indianapolis. And DJ, we talk about like through the Peyton Manning era, the Andrew Luck era. This was one of the teams that you always talked about. They were going to be in the Final Four. They were always in the hunt. The model consistency in terms of the way that they approach the game and the way they do business. So, look, he certainly will be missed. We think about his imprint on bringing a Super Bowl to Middle America at a time when no one really thought that would be possible given weather conditions and those things. They were able to do that. We think about Indianapolis being the home of the NFL Scouting Combine and how important that is to the league. Jim Irsay deserves a lot of credit, not only for what he did for that organization, but what he did for the town and the city of Indianapolis.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. He's done a great job of creating a football town, really, and a lot of that goes to Peyton Manning and the work that he did, and the coaching staff, Coach Dungy, everyone that they had there during those years. And it really is, home of the combine. It is a football town, and racing is always going to be kind of the story of Indianapolis and the background there, but it is a phenomenal football town, and Mr. Irsay deserves a lot of credit for that. And again, we pass along our prayers for him, for his family as they're grieving right now, I'm sure. All right, Buck, anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
No, man, just look, to end on a down note like that, it's certainly sad and heartbreaking, and our wishes and condolences go out to all those people. But man, what a great time in the National Football League. So much interest and intrigue as we think about our eye to the season. We got mini camps and those things coming up. It is, look, man, I think this season is going to be fantastic because there's so many teams well positioned to make a jump. I think it may be one of the more competitive seasons that we see in terms of really trying to figure out who are going to be the teams that we talk about being the last one standing.
I will always tell you this too. One of my favorite parts about this time of the year, and I think these end up coming out earlier and earlier. Nobody, a lot of people don't read. I shouldn't say nobody. A lot of people don't read magazines anymore, but I'm still a sucker for college football preview magazines, Buck. Especially in the era of the transfer portal. Like, I got to figure out who's where. I always look forward to going to Barnes and Noble, getting that Lindy's magazine or
how much fun is that? How much fun is that?
It's great.
To be able to see all
that's
this stuff.
That's like the hang out by the pool stuff, man. Like, it's kind of your summer thing, and kind of keep up with that, and maybe get a chance to pop a little tape on some of these guys as well. So we're not going anywhere. We'll have plenty more shows coming your way all throughout the off season, as I like to refer to it as list season, Buck. Everyone in sports media, how many lists can you come up with? Because that's where we are in the process. I tweeted out the other day, I said, I'm going to give you the top 5 reasons why it's about to be list season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're right in it. This is when all the rankings come out. This is when we can get people stirred up about a lot of nothing. But
yep. That is. We'll be creative. If you've got any creative ideas for lists, by the way, shoot us a little tweet on X. Let us know what we should do. It's maybe a little different than everybody else is doing this time of year. We'll try and get some guests on as well too. I love trying to cross sport, conversate, and all that stuff. So we'll see what we can do there. That's going to do it for us today. We appreciate you guys hanging with us. We'll see you next time right here on Move the Sticks.